soon as we're live, I'm ready to dig in. Yeah, we're up, we're live. Hello and welcome back to the RDA. I am at just a loss for words after this game right now. This match reaction is going to be some Ollie slander, I can tell you that right now. We're going to dig into the players, we're going to dig into just Ollie in general and the tactics of the day. And I hope everyone that is joining us is ready to do the same with us and interact throughout the comments. We'll be checking them in as much as possible. But yeah, let's just get into it, I think. How are you feeling, Rita?
Claudia Neria struck, and to be honest, I'm not surprised. Maybe I should be, but I'm not surprised. I'm not lost for words because I kind of feel like we expect this now from this manager, you know. And yeah, you know what? I won't lie to you guys. I celebrated the fourth goal. I did, because us getting smacked, one, no matter how long it takes, it gets us close to the sack, and two, or gets him close to the sack, and two, like, you can't just keep getting away with this, you know.
Yeah.
You can't just keep playing crap football and drag United's name through the mud and just getting another chance. So he deserves to lose 4-0, and this is all on him. And you know, the players, yes, it hurts, but they should be pointing fingers to Ole, you know, or the pout should be going to Ole right now. And yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest thing that we can say after all, that this is just dreadful. So as much as I expected us to lose, as much as I knew we could go sideways very, very quickly, I'm just with Shawnee right now. He said, in the darkness it's tough, and that's just how it feels at the moment. We're just stuck in the darkness, and admittedly, I was very frustrated. Like, as soon as that fourth goal went in, clicked off the stream, I was done. Even after the João Pedro goal, I was just like mentally done. But as soon as the fourth went in, again, it was just one of those moments that, as much as I realize it gets Ollie close to the sack, it is such a frustrating moment to know we just went to Vicarage Road and lost 4-1 to Watford. And yeah, it's just something else, because second half, I think we can all say we played a lot more positively, and that was largely down to Sancho sticking to the right a lot more and Donny van de Beek coming on. And we got the best out of those players. So how could it go so sideways so quickly? And I think maybe the talking point should be Harry Maguire for today a little bit. What did you think?
Yeah, no, like, I was just interacting with a Liverpool fan before I came on the show, and I was talking to a City fan before I came on, and like, you know, they feel sympathy for us. Like, it's gone to a point where you're like, wow, you know, it's sad to see Manchester United in such a position.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, you know what this show and what the last weeks have shown, and the saddest part of all of this, it's just highlighted what the bigger problem, how much they just don't care, people running this club, you know. Like, we can all shout at all and all of that, but it's just shown that they are willing to go to these extents for their own agenda. And yeah, that's saddening, because it makes you realize that this is not Manchester United. This isn't our club, you know. And we're not gonna have our club for some time until these guys are gone. So that's a shame, really. And yeah, no, the football-wise, we were dreadful. We were dreadful. First half, it looked like we were trying to play more on the ball, you know. It looked like maybe we did work on those things he said we worked on, but there was no clue, you know. Tactically, it was just so bad. It was tentative, it was slow, the ball couldn't get to attackers, and Watford dominated us. Like, I think that's the headline for this game. Watford dominate Manchester United relegation team. And defensively, I have no idea what's going on. It seems like by every game it's getting worse. So we're getting worse defensively. And Harry Maguire, that tackle, like, how can you do that as the captain?
Yeah.
So today was just the epitome of everything that's gone wrong at this club so far.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to frame it as well. It's just the epitome of where we've fallen at this point. And I see that Shawnee put in Bruno's having fights with the fans, I'm hearing. And I feel really bad for Bruno for today as well. Because as much as Harry Maguire's taking a large responsibility for the end of this result, for that wild and ridiculous tackle. Bruno Fernandes is one of the few players I can look at in this United team 9 out of 10 times and see him putting his heart on his sleeve every single time. Every single game, he's giving his all. And as much as it was off today, him just being there was enough for a lot of the time. I saw him drop back to centre back a lot when Maguire was sent off. And during the first half, he just did a lot of the legwork. He did that McFred role to an extent. And I can understand why he's feeling frustrated after a result like this and why some fans would be upset and how that would lead to a bit of conflict. I wouldn't be surprised, you know?
I feel like Bruno was rubbish today. I won't lie.
Yeah.
I think probably one of Bruno's worst games. I thought Ronaldo was rubbish today, and I think it is just a mental thing now. You can't go through so much. You can't have a manager who's so obviously bad, you know, and the players know he's obviously bad, and just think that we can take a week off and then come back and then they'll be okay. They won't, you know.
Yeah.
They're human beings. So I think it just got to them now, and I think it's highlighted in the scorelines that we've been conceding. Yes, it is largely down to us not having good CDMs and people who can stop teams when they on the turnover. But I just think like you always see when a manager loses the dressing room, it's always highlighted in how bad the performances are. It goes past tactics to a point where the players are just not giving as much as they can because they're not capable of giving that. And I don't know how long this can go on. I just don't.
Yeah, it's just it was a mess from Bruno today, and I don't know where we go as fans moving forward right now. And a lot of people, rightfully so, upset for such a poor result. And as much as you can blame the CDM, I think today we had a proper CDM, and we decided to start Matic and McTominay against Watford again. Another big talking point into Ollie's tactical ability in general is just how do you do that? How do you play two more defensively minded players in your system in a game against a relegation team and expect to have a positive result? And Matic was very rusty today. I think he was probably our worst player, and then Bruno slightly ahead of him. Because again, Bruno definitely was bad.
I'm 100% convinced now.
Yeah.
I'm convinced it's a vendetta. It has to be some kind of vendetta against Van de Beek because
Yeah.
you saw him come on and like he instantly makes a difference. You're telling me he hasn't seen an ounce of that in training? I don't believe that. And
to actually butt in there, the only thing Ollie has ever said is positive things about him in training. He's only ever said he's given 110%. He's only ever said that Donny's been brilliant during training, and he never gets his damn chances. That's disrespectful. It's completely disrespectful because he came on and showed why he was such a good player.
Like, how can you take 5 to Liverpool and it be obvious midfield's a problem? You get destroyed in midfield by Man City, and then you still stick with the same midfield. It just doesn't add up really. So the only assumption I can come up with is that he clearly just doesn't want to be wrong.
Yeah, I think the stubbornness of our manager is just emanating this dark times lie ahead for us if we don't pull the sack. And I guess that leads to the question: Do you think this is it now? Do you think we're going to pull the trigger?
Oh my gosh, I can't, you know, my heart can't bear it. I can't get excited about this guy getting fired because I just think I was watching a bit of Mark Olbish during the game, and he was like, you know what, they couldn't get a manager in a week, so what's gonna change in a couple of days, you know? So what I think will happen is that they will leave it until Villarreal and hope we beat Villarreal, and if we beat Villarreal, they'll keep him on, you know? Like, I think they've gotten to a point where they've decided that they're not gonna care, you know. They're just gonna keep pushing it as long as they can. And yeah, you talked of dark times. It's just dark at the moment. Yes. Like, there's no light in the tunnel. And as fans, we might as well just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say don't support the club for the time being, and then maybe just come back when things are rosier, when they have a new manager. But like, it's not good for our health because these people are not going to do the right thing.
Yeah, that's true as well. I doubt they're going to do the right thing. And we're just in this position where it doesn't feel like we can get close to doing the right thing anymore as a club in itself. So who knows at this point?
You're going to fire him?
I have no clue. I feel like right now you especially if a bad result happens against Chelsea, it's done. It's very much just done. It has to be cut ties right now. Just get Zidane in. It's just move on. It's time to move on. We cannot possibly keep up with these shocking results. I think the stat is now we've conceded about 14 goals in like 4 games. It's something like that at this point, and that's absolutely ridiculous.
And we just
Yep.
brought in a set piece coach.
And yeah, we haven't scored a set piece goal all season in the Premier League. It's ridiculous stats that are very telling of Ali's playstyle. And we are such an individualistic based team under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that if players' mental is gone, you get shit performances. And that ties right back into what we were saying about Bruno and even Ronaldo a bit today. Their mental's just pissed off. They're just aggravated because they're doing what they can on the pitch every single day, and they're not getting coached well enough to be able to just change it. You can't just rebel against the manager as much as we want them to, and a lot of the times you feel the pressure to take onus yourself, and you go for that massive long shot. You go for that insane ball that's not going to work 9 or 10 times, and it just leads to more and more of this desperate play style that we're seeing more and more of again. And I think as well with what Shoni said, we got our Donny goal remove. It's a good example as well because Donny was straight individualism. It was just beautiful play from Donny van de Beek to create the goal and get it himself as well with Jadon Sancho. Brilliant players who have been mistreated. And it is a huge middle finger to the fans at the moment, as Shoni says in the chat. It's just a joke. And
the fact that John doesn't play is insane. I mean, he comes on, he's giving us creativity from deep, one, something we're lacking, and two, tackles, they're not amazing. Yes, he misses a few, but they're much better than what I've seen from Fred and Tom.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know what? It's just gone to a point that there's nothing more to be said. We've said it all. And you can't predict it because clearly there isn't an ounce of football idea, football willingness. I'm struggling how to put it, but there isn't any football in mind when it comes to decision making at this club.
Yeah, there really is none. And as a bit of foreboding, Vinici says Chelsea are going to destroy us, which I think is very likely with how Chelsea have been playing and how we have been playing on the counter. It's very, very, very telling. And yeah, Shawnee even said Chelsea will put 8 past us. We've only got 4 points from 21. Yeah, it's just a mess right now. And Donny was cooking today, could have had 2 assists. Again, brilliant from Donny van de Beek. I think even just a small sneak peek before we talk a bit more about the players in depth, I personally think he's my man of the match. I think most people's man of the match. He came on, instant impact, and I said it as soon as he came on, he's basically world class. This kid is ridiculous. He came on from nothing. He put in a better shift than McTominay. I saw him make more tackles than McTominay. I saw him put a lot more balls forward than McTominay. I saw him work harder than McTominay. And I saw him get a damn goal for this club. Unlike McTominay. And just everything about him makes this club better. And if Maguire doesn't go off in this game, I genuinely think he would have been instrumental in us tying or winning this game. That's just how it was looking. He was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was reckless tackle from your captain. But I just want to ask, how would you feel if they gave it to Eric Ramsey? Being that he's probably the only outsider at the club. You kind of say an outsider in the technical team.
The thing is, I don't even know with Eric Ramsey anymore because he was meant to come in as the set-piece coach, and our set pieces have only gotten worse, if I'm being honest. Attacking-wise, we haven't scored a goal in 12 Premier League games. It is at this point, I think. I think we're game week 12. I could be wrong. We haven't scored a set-piece goal all season long, and defensively, set-piece-wise, we've barely gotten better. So we've still conceded from set-pieces this season. So I don't know how I'd feel if something like that had to happen. As much as he is the only outsider, he's probably the only one I would trust enough to stay on a technical team. But he is someone that I feel has to grow into the role a lot more still, and someone who has a lot to learn on the job. So as much as he is definitely better than Oli and his current team, I don't know if I feel okay just giving him the reins as like an interim or something. I don't know how I feel about that personally. Where do you stand here?
I'm at a point that you know what, give it to him, honestly,
Yeah.
because if the problem is that they don't want to spend money on an outsider or they don't want to bring in someone new, might as well, because at least we'll be getting rid of what has been the problem for a very long time, which is Ole and McKenna and them, might as well, honestly, and let him come with a fresh outlook. It might not be good enough, but at least Ole will go out of the way.
Yeah, and right now, doing better than Ollie isn't too big of an ask. So, as much as like Brendan Rodgers got tactically outclassed today and I would still take him over Ollie. He's still better, and that's all our goal is as fans right now. It's just to improve from the standard of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which is in the mud. We have absolutely world class talent in the squad that is being wasted week in week out playing shitty football. That I personally felt in the first half was very rushed. We had no one that wanted to take responsibility for it. Second half rolls around, we see the best out of these players. We start seeing what they are made of, and we start seeing just how bad the coaching overall is, because we couldn't do anything unless Sancho or Van de Beek was on the ball, basically. We couldn't create a chance without those two. So I don't know what to do going forward. I think any improvement is something we'll take right now. But it's just an unacceptable situation that we're in.
It's funny how the mainstream media is only picking it up now. Because, yes, I was also late to the whole it's individual brilliance party. But then, you hear them speak about it now, and fans have been talking about this since last year. It's always been individual brilliance. And I was listening to the co-commentator basically saying that, just moving the ball from the defense through the midfield, this just doesn't seem to be an outball. Doesn't seem to be a plan.
Yeah.
And basic tactics are just lacking.
Yeah, exactly. That's just where we are. And I've been ignoring showing for a minute, actually. David De Gea saved 2 pens and made a few important saves, and it could have been much worse today. It's quite telling when we can go and say David De Gea made 2 penalty saves today, as much as it was a retake. And it was 4-1, and we had our keeper make a penalty save and some other saves throughout the game. It's quite telling. Donny scored only headed goal in the Premier League this season. Again, this goes back to the set pieces, I think, straight away, as Eric Ramsey has not had the impact that we all thought he would, I think.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I just I'd take anyone right now.
Yeah.
It's just going to that point. Anyone, I'll take anyone.
Yeah, and I think let's just jump into it. I think how did you feel about De Gea's performance there? Let's look at our first player.
Yeah, I saw though. I don't know. Sa's only in clearly.
Yeah.
Sa's only in, and that he at least he scored a goal, so I'll give him that. But then those penalties were horrendous. But David De Gea did what David De Gea could do. And there's nothing more you could do, honestly. Save 2 penalties. The first goal, you got close to saving it. But you know what? When the team is just off, the defense is just off, there's only so much you can do as a goalkeeper. So he took 4 goals. I'm going to give him a 5. I can't give him higher than that.
Yeah, I kind of feel very similar to you in that regard. It's just David De Gea, it was a mess of a situation in general. I want to just check how many saves he actually made today. He made 3 saves in general today, and obviously conceded 4, saved the penalty twice, even though it ended up rebounding at the same time. One of them, I personally think he deserves at least a 6. I think he gave his all. And David De Gea near post, I just can't with him near post. That's still his weakness. It's been his weakness for a minute. Yeah. So we continue with that. Yeah.
Near post and just handling the ball. He maybe there was nothing he can do. Of course, he couldn't catch that, but I kind of feel like maybe you could have, I don't know, hit it harder, So to save a penalty, and it just drops there, Maybe I'm nitpicking, but it's just always being those little things with De Gea. He does the difficult things really, really well, but then the simple things is okay.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. Definitely. Yeah, I would give him around a 6 personally. So I'm with you there. And then a bit of an invisible man today, I think, Luke Shaw. How did you feel?
It's not the same Luke Shaw, is it? I defend him in our combined 11 when you guys pick Cancelo, but it sucks. Anymore. It sucks. And can you blame it on Ole? I don't know. I feel like world class players can keep that consistency, and I kind of feel like we saw that with Wan-Bissaka. He was amazing in his first season and he couldn't keep the level. And Luke Shaw just hasn't been the same player. He's just been downright average. He doesn't have he has bad games here and there, but most of them are just okay. But it's not as outstanding as it was when he was at the World Cup and before that. So yeah, just in 6 and 7s defensively, and I'm gonna go with the 5.
Yeah, again, I don't think Luke Shaw's anywhere near the player that he used to be last season. He's nowhere near that anymore, and I don't know why that is. It's just, I feel if we go into a more creative system, a more tactically inclined system, we probably see that Luke Shaw again. Because there's moments where we can go see that Luke Shaw's driving with the ball. You could see him wanting to put a cross in, and it's a decent cross, and you could get something out of it. And I just think we need that upgrade to get him back on track because he's definitely down on motivation. There's no way that he's happy with our current results at Manchester United. And it's just that mental boom that everybody's having to deal with at the moment that I think is even affecting Luke Shaw. So, as much as he isn't the same player, there's definitely still that player in him. It's just a matter of how we bring him out, and I think that's going to take a tactical restructure of the club in general. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I would
It's
agree with the
tough,
five.
honestly. I kind of feel like football has evolved to a point where, as much as we slate Ole for individual brilliance, and we should slate him, I kind of get this feeling that you go, I don't know, 10 years back, maybe Ole wouldn't have been in such a bad position because I kind of feel like there were probably more managers who do rely on individual brilliance. I kind of feel like Mourinho as well. As much as Mourinho is a brilliant manager, I do, when I look at him now and just how he struggles to get the best out of players, I do think he probably did also rely on how good players are. And probably football has just evolved to a point where tactics is so good, teams are so organized that
Oh.
if you can't match that, you're just you're gonna drown.
Yeah, and I think the comparison that we have to make is back to Sir Alex's United. There was obviously moments of individual brilliance throughout it, and that's what Ollie wants to base his playstyle off of. It's just this counter-attack heavy and let the good players be good players, and not really trying to coach. As much as Sir Alex definitely did put coaching into it, that's just kind of the mentality that he's keeping with. Because as you said, everyone else is very tactic focused, and you're just going to get out tacticked every game. So I think that's a very fair criticism right now. So I don't even want to really talk about this. So you can just have the floor with Harry Maguire. You can go slate him for a minute. Just I don't know how to describe this performance because
But I shall be there.
yeah.
I shall get angry now at Ole, at the players. I can't come on the show and just be like, you know what? I'm so sick of it because
Looking at
like
the
you've
dogs
done
in while
that.
you're busy with Baz
Yeah.
here.
Sorry.
I'm gonna let the dogs in while you're busy with Baz here. So it'll just be a sec.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? It's just gotten to the point where it is what it is. Maguire's a disgrace. I saw him talking to the referee, trying to kind of, assert himself and be a captain. And like, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but it's just not in him. He's not. He's just not the type of character. And I feel like the burden of being captain just makes him a worse player. And Ole should just relieve him of that. And I'm pretty confident whatever competent manager that comes in will do that. But like to make a tackle like that, he was under no pressure whatsoever.
Definitely.
He just did what he did. And we've seen this time and time again with Maguire. 1 minute he's decent, the next minute, what the heck just happened? He just does some other thing that goes there. And we talk about mentality issue with the United players. We've always mentioned that for a long time, and it's always kind of seems like an excuse. Whenever we're doing bad, we do just say, the mentality maybe is not on it. With Harry Maguire, sometimes I just wonder, does he have, the mentality to be one the captain of such a big club, or just to be at such a big club? Because I feel like he just makes these weird decisions too often. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the 0.
I think that's very accurate. Big thing about just Harry Maguire today is I thought he was okay throughout the game. I didn't think there was like I saw like a few moments where he made some decent tackles and like he held his own, and he would have ended up with like a 6 or maybe a 7 if we had ended up winning this game. But that second tackle was so unnecessary, as you said, and it just feels like, how are you the captain of Manchester United? How are you playing for England? How are you doing all this stuff when you can be so inept at moments. And yeah, it's just ridiculous. And Shoney's back in chat finally, so he says modem died. Maguire's red card helped us for once. Well, hopefully it helps us, I have to say, because
I can't even put myself to get excited that we took 4 or lose. But like, can I ask, how much do you think is down to coaching with Maguire?
I think it's very minimal. I think a lot of it's this is the player he is. This is the player he's going to continue to be. I don't see too much of like an improvement if a proper coach had to come in. I could see him being a bit better, but I thought he was all right at Leicester, and 80 million is way, way overpriced for this man. And I'll forever say it. I don't think he has leadership ability either at this club, and his mental is as fragile as a 12-year-old's. It's ridiculous at moments. So I don't think he's going to change. And I think he's 28 at the moment, if I'm correct. Yeah, he's 28. He should be in the prime of his career, and he is creating so many issues for us just defensively. And I just can't. I don't think any coaching is going to be able to help him personally.
You know, when you think about it, so like the signing of Maguire, you know, the paying of 80 million for Harry Maguire, just I kind of feel like just shows the Brexit bias from not just the club, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well, to be honest, because to be willing for Ed to come to you and say, I need to pay 80 million for this guy, and you say, okay, and you look at his attributes, he's not that quick, you know. So just from that, he's not really going to fit a style we have to play a high line, you know. And there's just so many things about him that, as much as he makes a decent centre back, maybe for the elite, he's not that great. You know, when you think of that, it kind of makes sense why he plays McTominay so much. It makes sense, you know. There's the bias to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to British players, yeah.
Yeah, I think Brexit FC is very accurate. We all know this at this point. We've complained for about 2 seasons about it. This was the only real season where we signed people out of the country, really. So, yeah, there's very, very hefty English bias. And I can promise you right now, he's not going to take the flak for today. The English media is not going to give him that much flack. It's just how it's going to be. He's the captain of Manchester United. He scored 2 goals for his country. It's just a bad day at the office, and they're going to go move on, and they're going to go blame some other player, probably a Matic or a Lindelof, or maybe even De Gea.
Yeah.
It's just just how it is. And Shawnee agrees, just saying no coaching. Maguire is just that bad. And we're talking about a man who's been relegated and has never won a trophy and has had fault for countless goals.
Yeah. And there's a problem with United. It's past Ole, you know. As much as we want to cling to the idea that Ole is the problem, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And it just worries you for what's coming. No matter who we hire, if Maguire can pass through all the levels or all the people have to approve it and be like, you know what, it's the right signing, you know. And like it's not just this. We've seen in the past, Schweinsteiger, Falcao, you know. And what is the future for this club? What is the future for this club?
At the end of the day, I still think Maguire should be good enough to be playing at a top 6 club level. And under a good coach, you should be good enough to be able to contest for a title, especially with our attack, which we'll move on to shortly, obviously. But at the end of the day, as much as I can go, Harry Maguire isn't that good. He is overrated. We have Rafael Varane next to him when he is fit, and that makes up a lot. He's a big, big crutch that a top-class manager can lean on and can get a lot better over Harry Maguire, as we've seen with Varane and Harry Maguire this season when they have played together. Varane's been very unfortunately injured all season. So
I guess the mandate's simple. Varane, just take care of all the important stuff. Maguire just headed everything away.
That's all Ollie tells them, I promise. It's just that easy sometimes. But yeah, I think it's time to move on.
Football's a simple game with the ultimate tactics.
Yeah, exactly. Football's a simple game. Moving on to our Swede, centre-back, partner in crime to Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof. How did you feel?
Lindelof has this thing that we keep talking about where you just don't notice him, and I just really didn't notice him. But I can imagine he was at fault because whenever Watford attacked, you just didn't even know what the formation was. Everybody was just all over the place. Yeah. So I'm just going to assume he deserves a 0.
Well, I was watching in the loft because I actually try and pay attention to my boy a little bit. I thought he was okay, but he was nearly at fault for a goal, that was nearly criminal what he did. I thought it was Harry Maguire that pushed out like really, really high, and he missed his tackle completely, and it was a bad situation as soon as that happened. But besides that, I thought he was all right. I just think he was solid. I didn't really see too many issues. I didn't see too many of those like long balls. I thought a lot of them were just the sideways passes, nothing crazy. He did a few switches of play to Shaw, but again, not a great performance, but better than Baz, that's for sure. That's all I can say. So I would just go with like a subpar 5.
Yeah, and I'm officially on Team Lindelof. As much as I don't really rate him, I think he's a better defender than
He's
Maguire.
better at this point, yeah.
I'm leaving Maguire FC. I'm done.
Yeah, that's just how it is right now. Well, it's not going to get better now. We lost to Watford, Villarreal, Chelsea, Arsenal, all coming up, says Shawnee. And he gives Lindelof a classic ghost 0. He can agree with you at that, at least. Bit disappear, but can agree with that. Oh, and I don't know how to feel about this next one. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, where do you stand?
I think he's better. He was better than Luke Shaw. I think he has been better than Luke Shaw for the longest time this season, and yeah, he tries. You know, you can see he does all the right things. Offensively, I'll never be a massive fan, but I just appreciate how he tries to link things up. But like today, it was just rubbish all over the place. You know, so you can't take 4 and I excuse him. I just felt like defensively, I don't remember anything being directly his fault. Maybe you can remind me. But you just can't take 4 and me excuse that. So I'm gonna give him a 4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
that's
one
it.
was. I think there were definitely a lot of positives. I felt like there were a lot of moments where he shone, where I could see him be in the right place at the right time defensively. He was there, he put pressure on at the right times. He saved quite a few attempts. But there were a lot of times where I felt like he just didn't have the energy in him to run anymore at stages throughout the game, especially in the second half. I felt like he couldn't catch up to his man at stages. I felt like he wasn't he couldn't put in the his all going forward. It was just a weird performance because I felt we also didn't really play through the right today, especially during the first half. I think he got like one chance to go forward in the first half. So
Yeah.
I'm very, very like a coin flip on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I could easily see him getting like a 3, and I could very easily see him getting like a 6 or a 7. It's just one of those games where I'm very, very conflicted with him. Because again, was decent all round, but very much a part of this defense that completely collapsed. I don't think he did enough going forward, which is fair enough. And his pass success rate was only 71%. I'm looking at this now. He only made one cross, 3 long balls all game. Yeah, I just don't think it was good enough. He won 7 duels, lost 3, made 3 clearances, attempted no dribbles. He was dispossessed once.
Now,
Uh,
with
yeah,
the exception of Maguire and McTominay, I feel like um, it's a team game. You know, you can only be. I
yeah,
feel like you can only be as good as you can only excel when your teammates are aiding you to excel. You know that.
yes,
So I just feel like a bulk of the team today went on it. So it's impossible for him to go forward and link up with players when Bruno and Ronaldo are just off it. So I,
definitely.
I just don't want to put too much blame on him.
Yeah, I don't feel like I can put too much blame on him as well, and that's also where the conflict comes from a bit. But I do think Aaron Wan-Bissaka was all right. I think I'll give him a 5. I think he can go down with the ship a little bit, but I don't think anything was particularly his fault. And again, during the first half, everything was very, very, very rushed. I felt like nobody wanted to take responsibility. So it just left him in a situation where he wasn't allowed to do anything as well. So I can agree with that for sure. But yeah, I think moving on to a very, very clear negative sign, Nemanja Matic.
Yeah, Matic. I'm a fan of Matic. I feel like he should play more because of what we have playing above him. Not that he's at his best anymore. It's just how it is,
Yeah,
you know. In football, you age and you lose that. But today he was bad. He was a lot like Bruno today. He was just losing balls left, right, and center. And I guess it is down to match fitness as well,
yep,
to be honest. Because if you don't play games, you can't just be thrown in and play at your absolute best. So, but yeah, he was just losing a lot of balls today, and yeah, Donny should have started ahead of him. Actually, Donny should have just played alone, and him and McTominay
That's
just
true.
be on the bench. But yeah, I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give him a 3.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Apparently, a person in chat the first time out of Kyoto says Oli sacked. I haven't seen any news just yet, but I'm assuming it's going to get really bad really soon. I'm not seeing anything on Twitter, so I'm assuming it's just what you want. I hope it happens. I agree with that.
Oh
I
my
would love
god.
it. I would love it if it came out. I'm just waiting for that Sky Sports Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sacked, you know. But yeah, shocked that Oli outlasted Ronald Koeman. Can definitely agree with that statement as well. But yeah, Barca have a competent board, and sadly we don't, and that sums it up, Shawnee. Very
I
right.
heard what's this? What's his name again? Laporta fired him on the plane back.
Mm,
Plane flight back to Barcelona.
no
I
fear.
forgot we were playing. I think we are playing in Portugal. And apparently he fired him in the plane. He wasn't having it. This club can't even fire properly. They won't do
Yeah,
it today. It'll take
exactly.
2 days to do this.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what happens going forward, but I think we all want Oli out now as much as possible. Because playing the Nemanja Matic in a game like this against a relegation team, you should not be trying to play your best defensive pivot on paper according to yourself. You should not be doing that because McTominay is a defensive player in Oli's mind. We all know this. It's ridiculous. And Matic is the king of defense for us. And he's like Aaron Wan-Bissaka in my head a little bit because I know he did some really good things, but holy shit, was it just shock and horror at moments. And you could just tell that the lack of game time had hurt him so much. And then he has to go and play in a game like this, which should be an easy 3 points. He should be good enough to be winning this game. He should be good enough to get these 3 points. So, yeah, I just think it was overall very poor. I thought he gave away the ball a lot. I thought there were a lot of moments where he like stepped out of defense and became that outlet that we were missing for a while. But just it wasn't enough. It wasn't nearly enough for what we needed. And the mistakes more so outweighed the positives from today because he made a lot of mistakes. And I think he was like directly at fault for the fourth goal, if I remember correctly, or the third one. I can't remember. I think he gave the ball away and then they had an attack and that's how they scored off of it. Can correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but yeah, Matic definitely has a lot of rust on him. And again, this is the game where you should be trying to play Donny immediately. You should be trying to play your attacking players, as you said. This should have been Donny's game. Every journalist touted Donny to start, and it should have been that way. And we had a absolute just horror show from Matic. So yeah, I'll agree with you 3. I think that's more than fair. Moving on, I don't know. Do you want to talk about Scott? Did he exist? Did he do anything?
I'll talk about him. I've never seen a player who can do the same thing wrong so many times and keep his position.
Yeah,
Like he does the same things wrong every game, and
yeah,
like the favoritism with this guy is out of the roof. It's insane. And like I heard, even the commentator was like, "Oh, you know what? Scott McTominay is the only one who actually tackles in this team, and they need that." And I'm thinking to myself, it doesn't count if the tackles are unsuccessful. You actually have to make a successful tackle for it to actually mean something.
yeah,
And like he just runs around committing fouls, left, right, and center. And like the only good thing I saw was like twice where he used his body to shield the ball and was strong. But beside that, he, as you say, basically doesn't exist. He doesn't exist. And like they
yeah.
just put him in there, It's like some corrupt company. It's like, you know what? We're just gonna make a position for you. We'll just make you president of
Oh,
something. It's the same thing with McTominay. They just patch him in there and like at least you're playing. And like it's so sad. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a -5.
-5. I think that's fair. Matic shocker, no lie. 3 from Shawnee. Will Donny leave if Oli continues? Yes, 100%. Fabrizio's like already confirmed that Donny's gone in January if the coaching stays the same. Don't even have to question it. Scott 0 moving on from Shawnee. I think that's easy enough. Yeah, 100% leaving while Donny's here, while Ali is here. Where will Donny go? Barcelona on loan? I think That would be nice for Monoto. I think you'd love that, but your card's kind of broke, so I don't see that happening, unfortunately.
Apparently, boss is 20 minutes to spend.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes.
United will take. It'd be a massive loss for United. You got him for
Yeah.
40 and you lose him for 20. It's their fault for putting him in the hands of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah, definitely. He was not taken care of. But yeah, he's going to go to any big club that wants him right now. And I think the world is his oyster. I think any competent club will look at Donny van de Beek and go, this is a class player. If we need a central midfielder, this is him. We're taking him. Because we're not going to make a profit. He's going to be going for like 20 million or less. And almost any club in the Premier League can afford that. So he could go to like a Spurs maybe. I think he could work really well there. Like Højbjerg and Van de Beek. I think that could be like a really good midfield of it, something like that. So that's just an example. Obviously, I don't know where he's going. He could go anywhere, but I think like an ideal would be to go to the Dutch team, go to Barcelona, the Dutch Barcelona.
They basically to be honest.
Exactly.
You could just see the confidence after he scored. You know, you could see that maybe him not being playing well from time to time is probably just a mental thing. After he scored, you just saw the class of this player. You know, he just makes things look so easy. You know, it's like and all the other players just 5 steps behind him. I love that point where he's like standing. He's like, you know what, James, just make a pass to me. Ronaldo makes a run, and he just dinks it. It's like it's so simple. Ronaldo didn't score, but like what a play he got there, you know. And if you're looking for box to box, I saw it today. Donny is perfect for that. Yes, he made a rash tackle, and instead of tackling, he's not the best, but he's good enough to be playing there. And what he offers going forward, getting in the box, scoring goals, and coming back, it's worth it, you know. And I just imagine a future where we've got him, and then maybe we've got like I don't wanna push the whole day versus Brexit FC agenda, but if you've got a Declan Rice next to him, I think that could work so brilliantly, you know. So I really enjoyed Donny today.
Yeah, well, what would you give him? What's your rating for him?
10.
10. Beautiful. Yeah, admittedly, it was that great. And as Shoni said, the Donny kiss to the fans made me so happy. Because I fully agree. It was just a moment of complete beauty. Just Donny van de Beek was the difference maker. He's just a world class player in my books at this point. He's just shy of it. He gets proper game time at any big club. He's going to be called world class in a matter of months, not even. Can promise that much. He's so fantastic, and just brilliant. He's man of the match. There's no doubt in my mind again. You know, it's an easy one. Yeah.
The only that's fine. You know, this might be the start of Donny always playing. He might never bench again.
Yeah. Maybe we see the famed Donny, Pogba, Bruno midfield 3.
Very attacking. Play.
Sorry, just something happened, so I was just talking to my mom quickly. I'll figure out what's going on. If it's emergency, I'll obviously let you carry on by yourself and let Shoni talk on. But yeah, for now, let's just go read the chat and catch up on what's been going on. Sorry about that, Malta. Even if Ollie's manager is sacked, there's no world-class manager available. There's Zidane, admittedly, and I think he's good enough. The club is in shambles because of bad management, definitely, but again, it starts with the Glazers at the end of the day, and Glazers art above all else. I think we can 100% say that. And Shoni's just saying exactly what I'm saying there. Zidane, will he accept the job? If he does, is he good for Prem? Who knows? The worst part is Malta and I are on more your side there. I think he's definitely a better manager. I think that things will obviously be better under Zidane. And the issue would be that I don't know if he would even accept the job. It felt like he wasn't sold on the United project. It didn't seem like he wanted it, so I would say he wouldn't. And is he good enough for the Prem? Again, I don't know, but back-to-back 3-time UCL winner, I think that should say a lot, because we have a team that could be capable of stuff like that. So,
look, I've always criticized Zidane.
Yeah.
Maybe being a bit harsh, but like, You know what? To be completely honest, you can't argue with 3 Champions Leagues in a row. No one else has done it. So yeah, he's good. He's a good enough option. And that sounds weird because some people think he's God, but he's
Yeah.
a good enough option.
Yeah, it's just where it's at, and he's more than good enough. Zidane should be top of our list, basically. But again, Glazers are the issue. They probably don't want to deal with a man like Zidane, who will be this aggressive and demand transfers and demand better and all this stuff. That's the type of player he is. We all know that. But yeah, carrying on with the team, sadly, Bruno Fernandes. How did you feel?
One of these worst games in United's shirt, to be honest, in my opinion. Like when he, the penalty, it was his fault, right? When he tried to clear the ball and like he just
Yeah,
went the complete opposite direction, and like that just set the tone for the rest of the game.
a little
Everything he
bit, yeah.
touched just seemed like it was just wayward, and nothing was really coming together. And there was like one shot where he should have at least hit the target, and he skied it. And yeah, you know what? It was just bad today from Bruno Fernandes, and it's been poor for quite a couple of games now. And I think this whole situation is really affecting him, and that's a shame. So
Mm.
I'm gonna give him a 4. I think I'm still being nice, to be honest.
Yeah, I could definitely see it being a lot worse. If I was on the Bruno hate train, I'd be agreeing that it could be a lot worse going forward. But yeah, I do think it was one of the poorer performances. And again, I felt like he's giving his all for the shirt as much as possible. I can definitely see it in the way he's playing, and he's trying to win the game. But just something wasn't clicking today, and he could not hit the ball on target. He could not like place the pass where he wanted to. But he wanted to win this game. He definitely did, and he just felt just out of it today. I don't know what it was. It could just be this mentality thing, but it was very poor from Bruno overall. He just couldn't place a pass. He couldn't hit a shot on target. It was just one of those days, and I don't hold any blame to him directly. Because again, I think a coach should be on the sidelines when a player's like that and go, calm the hell down, like settle your play, just calm down, let your natural play come out, or just simplify it. A coach should be stepping in when a player is getting to that point mentally, especially one that's famed as a good man manager. So Bruno Fernandes, no hate again. We love Bruno, but I think poor performance. I think a 4 is like justified. I think just to switch over back to the manager situation because it's still going on in chat a little bit. I heard Goldberg saying to bring in Brendan Rodgers, and we gave our opinion on this a little bit earlier. Again, it's going to be an improvement, but I don't think it's good enough. Nonetheless, we should be going for like a big quality winner, and that's just where it is. Anyone's kind of an improvement over Ollie, and can't really blame anyone for wanting Brendan Rodgers because he does play more of attacking style football that it could definitely work. So I'm unsure about it, but it's better than Ollie. That's all I have to say. Shawnee's saying Bruno 0, I'm not having it, and he was fighting for Ollie and the fans, and against the fans, it's a 0. And Shawnee, I don't want Rodgers, obvious enough for him. Bruno and Ronaldo also performing bad at the international stage. Ollie is affecting their game. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
I feel weird about it because I honestly think this guy's good enough. And the fact that Man City want him, I think it says it all because I
Yeah.
think Man City just don't do things lightly. But at the
Definitely.
same time, you kind of feel like for our situation, maybe we do need an elite. I guess, if we're actually going to challenge, maybe we do need someone who's just out of this world, even with the lasers can make it work. So yeah, but I think a club of Manchester United's size that does things properly should be giving a coach like Brendan Rodgers a chance because like in what world do we live in we don't give coaches opportunities? These type of coaches become world class coaches because they get opportunities. So yeah, that's just where I'm at really.
Yeah, I could see that happening as well, the Brendan Rodgers situation. If he gets the chance at United, he could shine. Who knows? Because he nearly won the league with Liverpool, who was a bit of a iffy squad.
No.
Yeah.
Something that worried me today is that
Yeah.
the amount of set piece goals they've conceded.
Yeah.
That did worry me a little.
But again, when you're at United, you should have the facilities to go and look at some better set piece coaches. Maybe Eric Ramsey's advice just hasn't been taken seriously, and maybe like Brendan Rodgers would be more open to listening to it. Who knows what's going on? It's a difficult situation, and who knows? Who knows what's going on in the back room? Who knows what could help? What could be hurtful? So yeah, I don't know.
You touched on Oliver being a man manager for a second there. And like if you
Yeah.
think about it, legit, the way being a man manager works and that being your only thing is that you have a good backup and good people
Yeah.
working with you. So like Ola's really shooting himself in the foot. So like he can't
Exactly.
complain. He could have fired these guys such a long time ago. And I honestly believe this probably could have worked because you don't really need to be the one doing the tactics. You just relay them, and you know what? Just amp up the team and just let your
Yeah.
team, your technical team, aid you where you struggle. And like, I
Yep.
don't get why he speaks of loyalty, but like, come on, at this level, I think it only goes so far. If someone is bad, we can still be friends, but like, get out. It's that simple. And
Yeah.
like, I just don't get it. I really don't.
Yeah. That's basically where it's at. They're saying, bro, you noticed Wan-Bissaka was useless. Wasn't quite useless, but it definitely wasn't a good performance. And Arteta and Klopp are fighting, so I'm assuming Shoney's still watching the Arsenal game on the side as well. Bissaka and Shaw were good, but now how does Oli even train the team? Again, we don't even think he trains the team, in all honesty. He's come outwardly and said he doesn't lead the trainings as well. So, yeah, Harry Maguire should let go of the armband to someone else. He's not worth it. Fully agree, once again. Don't think Harry Maguire is anywhere near captaincy at Manchester United. I know you agree with that. I doesn't train them. He said himself, training up. Modern right back and don't know passing attack. He's not a modern right back to say the least, but he is a good enough player to be able to work in a system. So I promise you right now, Guardiola's not going to get put off by Aaron Wan-Bissaka being the starting right back at his Man City team right now. He would thrive under it. He would make it work perfectly. I can tell you that right now. He's good enough to play at this level. We're just trying to use modern fullbacks in a fullback that is very much from an older time where defense was more impactful.
Um, I'd like, you don't really have to follow the trend, you know, like you just really need to just make it work. And like we see with Pep, I mean, Pep plays inverted fullbacks. As much as Kyle Walker is very attacking and Cancelo does chip into the goals, so Pep does like him to tuck into the midfield. So it's this whole thing about him being not being a modern fullback is really isn't a problem. You can make it work, and the real problem really comes down to the poor coaching. Right? If only a good week to chat. Okay, Clay seems to be uh, going.
Sorry, Mlota, there we go. Yeah, sorry. Just stuff's going on in the background right now.
Yeah, I was about to just continue.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. Um, yeah. Where were we in this chat? Yeah, bro, you're right on like Samuel Eto'o. You right on Samuel. That's the second time somebody's called you Samuel Eto'o on this buddy show. What is this?
Oh, who? Me?
Yeah, yeah, not this.
Okay. Samuel was a brilliant player. I think it was a compliment. He was a war beat.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Mhm.
Um, it's weird. I don't get it either, but it's fine. You can take the compliment if you want. Players on coach. That's the
Maybe I
thing.
should
Yeah.
crazy. Maybe I should make it. I should make a thing. Maybe I should keep Samuel from now on.
Maybe a little bit.
Etta can be my nickname.
Uh, Arteta had a plan, but lacks players. Oli was lucky last season. He is not good for a managerial job. Yep, that's basically where we're at as well. You can definitely say that. No offense, Oli is a legend, but he is like a PE teacher. Yep, that's just where we're at with him, and we've been with him for the past, well, year or two for me and Shawnee, and this season or so for Mr. Eto over here. But we move forward, I guess. I don't know. I think we may even have to revoke Ollie's legend status. It's getting bad, you know. His legacy is definitely getting tarnished, as Shawnee just said. It's one of those
think,
situations right now.
yeah, I think we as fans will never say you're not a legend anymore. But
Yeah.
like, it's gonna get to a point where when you think of Ole, you can't think of '99. You can't think of
Yeah.
him coming off the bench. You just think of the guy who just dragged us in the mud
Yeah.
as a coach. So it's a yikes.
Yeah, that's all it is at this point. Moving on is Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial, because I think they could probably be summarized at the same time at this point.
Same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Rashi. You know, we hope that he's coming back and he's fully fit now. He'd be better, but like, you know what? I honestly do think if Rashi was on the Bielsa or Pep, there was no way he'd just go so anonymous. I do think that just by the nature of the playing style, he'd be involved more. And I think, you know what, Rash is the type of player who really does stick so much to the wing. Maybe he does maybe switch to the right a lot, but then he does hold his width. So maybe that does affect him in the sense that if the ball's not really getting to him, he can't really get involved as much as, let's say, Jadon Sancho, who will then drop into the midfield and try and make things happen there. But yeah, it's not good enough with Rashford. This happens way too many
Yeah.
times where he just disappears. You know, and Martial as well. Martial's worse. You know, Tony will have games where he looks like the best player in the world,
Yeah.
where everything he's doing is amazing. Or he'll have games where it seems like he's not playing. Yeah, and it's not good enough from both our wingers. And I'm gonna give them both zeros.
Yeah, in all honesty, neither of them quite deserve a rating. So I think that's fair enough. Both of them had next to no impact. Martial couldn't get involved in the game. I'd actually slightly disagree with you because I felt Rashi did hold his width to an extent today, and he tried to cross a bit more today. I could definitely see that. But the amount of times I saw Ronaldo on the left and Rashi through the middle in that 45 minutes of play that he was in was ridiculous. Forcing Ronaldo out wide to accommodate your play is it's just not good enough, and he should be doing better. So I don't know with Rashi there. That was a disaster fest. But I think, as Shoni said, Tony hasn't played for so long, and that's a very, very good reason as to why he played poorly. But I don't think he helped his case today. I think that's a big thing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you love Tony, but the thing is, with Tony, this happens way too many times. Even when he's
Yeah.
playing, you know, I just feel like he's just never been a consistent player,
Yeah.
and we can only use the whole system player excuse for so long. You know, it's either that you are a world class player or you're not, and you need to be consistent to be a world class player.
Yeah, and I think that's fair enough, I guess. And when Martial was at his best and most consistent, we decided to drop him immediately after. So it's only our own downfall. But Martial only made 5 passes all game. He had a whole 14 touches in 45 minutes. That was his game summed up, and I think that says enough about where we were. The Nishi says Liverpool scored, so I'm just going to check on that scoreline real quick and see what happened there. Mane goal, Trent assist for all you fantasy players out there. Enjoy that one. Ah. But then, yeah, back to our little reality here. Let's go to more positive news. Jadon Sancho.
No. I rated Sanchez here. I think he was involved in the goal. He crossed Ronaldo. Ronaldo laid it up for Donny. And I think he had a good game, to be honest. I think if he plays more, one, he will obviously start chipping in with the assistant goals. And two, it's so obvious as the system. It's
Yeah.
so obvious. Like, I know it's a weird comparison because he was at Man City. But if this Jadon Sancho was dropped into Man City, Mahrez benches every day.
Yeah.
For me, maybe even Bernardo Silva. I know you might argue that because you love Bernardo Silva, but I just think if he was playing in a system where it was fluid, you know, where you could give and go, you know, and overlap and just have those runners on a consistent basis,
Yeah.
it would be so good for him, and like he'd get so many more contributions. So yeah, I rated him today, and he was shining the light in a lot of bad. So you know what, I'm gonna give him a 7.
Yeah, I think Sancho was our second best player on the pitch easily. And that's just Jadon Sancho on the right. That's all you had to change. You just pushed him wide. In the first half, I felt he was a lot more non-existent because, again, there was a lot of interchanging with Rashford for whatever reason. And whenever I felt Sancho was on the ball during the first half, it was on that left-hand side, and I felt like he couldn't do anything. But as soon as we started playing through him on the right, he became a genuine outlet for goal threat, and he looked fantastic. And I'll even agree with Shawnee with the 8. I think Sancho was brilliant, and he's a real talent, and he's going to do great. And again, in a system that would play around those wingers like a Man City, Mars is down on the bench every day of the week under the player like this right now. I would fully agree with you. So I just think we need to be doing better. It's just not good enough to have these players rot away. So yeah, Ali is just unforgivable how he has treated Sancho, and even the bullshit that he was spouting about Sancho not having scored as many goals as him or something before the game started. It was these weird comments that nobody really understood. It was weird. It was very weird. And yeah, Sancho is very unfairly criticized. And he's a real player. Yeah. Well, I'll find the quotes. I'll find the quotes. It was so weird before the game. It was in the pre-match presser. It was so weird. But yeah, tell us about Cristiano Ronaldo, because Shoni may defend him a little bit.
That was a bit of an Ajax, wasn't it? I think the same thing as Bruno, honestly. I think, you know what, you can't even say it's a mental thing and not criticize Cristiano Ronaldo, because that's offensive in the Ronaldo camp. You can't say Ronaldo is suffering from a mental thing. Ronaldo's supposed to be perfect. But, like, you know what? It's just so toxic at the moment that I forgive him. And the amount of balls he was skying today, it was insane. And once again, the system just doesn't really work for him because he doesn't get on the ball. What's going on? Sitting outside here, hearing some funny sounds. But anyway, he doesn't really get on the ball as much as he should. But yeah, I think he did have a stinker today. And I'm going to give him a 5 because he's Ronaldo. I can't dare give him lower.
Yeah, okay. So this was the quote. Apparently, Sancho has still not played, so I've got more goals than him. I've been on him all week to try to catch me. He's looking forward to it, of course. It's a big day for him. That's the exact quote that Ali said before the game about Jadon Sancho. That is... Yeah, that's quite something, hey? It's great. But yeah, talking about some... why'd we let James go? No, he was not great potential. I could promise you that right now. He became a very, very readable player very, really quickly. I'll tell you that right now.
To the head of Sancho.
Yeah. That's the thing as well. That's the thing that's true. He would have taken the place of Jadon Sancho right now. So as much as Shoni's come through to just make a comment, I'm guessing, and break our layout a little bit.
I'm not having. Me, I came on this show. I'm here to defend the boy, Ronaldo 10. I'm sitting in darkness. Got 10% on my phone. I'm not having it, Lotto. I'm using my last 10%. Come tell me now that is the good. You get the 10. See that assist? Quality. Absolute quality. Everything else, it's not his fault. I can just, you just move on from that. But
5, dude.
Goodbye, Shoni. Go leave. It's fine. You can go listen to us.
Oh, my power came back as well. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to just leave you guys to wrap up the show. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. We're just going to finish with Dan James, I think, first. Again, Dan James' big thing about him right now is he became way too readable and became very one-dimensional very, very quickly. At first, I could definitely agree with you when he first came to United and was scoring the goals, but then that was his only trick. It was the one-trick pony, and he was just so readable after that, and he just showed his class to be a Leeds-level player. Again, as Shoni said, Ronaldo, 10 out of 10, he's sticking with his United loyalty, he's stuck with us in heart, he knows how shite we are. Imagine I'm even choking as I'm saying that. It's that bad. We can't create chances for him, and today he was definitely just frustrated. I think it's simple as that. The Nishi says, I watched Villa play today, and snippets, Villa already have an identity in one game under Gerrard. We have nothing. That's fair enough. That's more than fair enough, in all honesty. I didn't catch any other Villa game because we were obviously watching United. But I saw that they didn't have as much possession, but they won 2-0, so I think they definitely have a better identity than us. And then the only thing that I like about Oli is the memes. Yeah, that's about it at this point for us. We can all agree on that. It's the only positive we can bring out of this shitty situation, because we've got such an immense squad and we've got such a shitty manager to make nothing of it. Where right now we are standing in 7th as things stand. We are 7th in the Premier League table with Cristiano Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes. This was a title hope season. We're sitting in 7th We're tied on points with Brighton. If Watford scored one more goal, Brighton would be ahead of us. It's ridiculous. We are 12 points, yeah. 12 points behind Chelsea.
Wow.
It's getting bad. It's getting really, really bad. We are... I can't do math. 8 points behind Liverpool, and then behind City by 6. Yeah, by 6. And they still haven't played their game. It's obviously still tight because it's early days, but that gap only gets wider and wider and wider. So I'm not looking forward to going any further in the season right now, because again, the next game is going to be Villarreal, which we're going to be covering tomorrow. I think we're going to be doing our preview. So I hope you guys are ready for that. That's for sure. And then we've got Chelsea. It's not looking good, to say the least. So yeah, I hope you guys have a lot more faith going forward than us, because we have none at the moment. Remember the name McFred. This duo will be more remembered than Xavi and Iniesta. Yep. McFred is better than Kroos, Modric, Xavi, and Iniesta. Exactly. Showing spitting facts there. Yeah, this is how it is right now. That's just where we're at as a club. We've become a joke, where we have to rely on McFred and individual brilliance to just win games against relegation-sized teams. So, with as little disrespect as possible to Watford, this is not a game Manchester United should ever be losing. Like, once every 2 seasons, I could let it slip. But the 4-1's an embarrassment of itself. If it was just like the 2-1, it's a lot more acceptable. But jeez, it was a terrible performance from us. And just overall, we need to be improving. We just need to be better. We're meant to be challenging titles. So yeah, that's just where my mind's at as my final thoughts for the show. What about you?
Yeah, you know what? 4-1, Watford dominated us today.
Yeah.
They dominated us. They didn't just beat us. They dominated the midfield.
Yeah.
And it's just dark. It's just dark right now. Where do we go as a club? Where do you go as a fan base? You know, like, how do you get excited for the next game?
Yeah.
Because what's the point? What's the point? We'll never not support, because we're just obsessed with that club, this club so much that we will stick with it even though it's bad for our health. But like, they're not. I'm not gonna bet on them firing him, but like, come on. Like, how bad do you want it to get? Like, even for you, being very focused on the financial side of the whole thing, even you have to realize that this is bad for business. This is bad for going forward, and they just need to get rid of him. You know, it's the least they can do. And yeah, maybe we should just leave it to our fates. Maybe we should just go in our rooms and pray.
Just a little bit.
Maybe we've spoken enough, and maybe that's the only thing we can do now. And yeah, I'm just deflated. I can't get angry, you know. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just where we're all at, and we've got to realize that we can't get schooled by Watford week in, week out and be okay with this. Even from a financial aspect, it's only going to hurt the club, because people are going to stop supporting the club, people are going to stop buying merch, all this stuff's going to affect them long term. So even from that aspect, I think you're very right that they should be looking to sack him and bring in someone else. So just even football aside, it looks like it's going to get worse for the club before it gets better. So I hope they do act on that. And all the rival fans constantly banter me, Manchester Divided have turned me into a victim of bullying. It's bad. The fan base is bad. Oh, and apparently they called an emergency meeting and Ollie's going to get sacked. I'll check Twitter to confirm that before we end.
Don't believe
but yeah, I don't either, because this club can never do it. Yeah, unfortunately, that's just where we're at, where I can't see it happening, you know. Yeah, I see the tweet from Jamie Ward. The United Stand retweeted it. That emergency board meeting called game over, apparently. The Glazer family has also instructed club officials to further accelerate attempts to persuade Zinedine Zidane to take over the managerial position mid-season, increase United's financial offer to 3 times Champions League winning coach. So yeah, I don't know if it is over, but it looks like something is happening. So yeah, well,
if he gets fired today, we'll throw a party.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have a small party in celebration. We may end up going live again if that happens, because Shoni has power again. So yeah, I think for now we can leave it there. And yeah, hopefully it means Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is gone. I hope you are very right there. I certainly do. But I think it was a fun show. As much as we missed Shawnee and he came on for a few minutes, we can definitely say that we had some fun bantering this club as always. And yeah, I just hope that this means that we are moving on from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the future could look a little bit better, because it should only be the start before the dawn, you know? So let's see what happens moving forward. I think this is just the time. I think we need to be looking at this as time to get in the world-class manager, time to start winning, and let's see if we can pull the season back from anything. And yeah, if you did enjoy it, please do consider subscribing. If you are new, like the first time of Kyoto, I haven't seen you before, and it's really cool to see you around. And we hope to have more people like you just join the community and have some fun. So yeah, last words, Malota, before we push this off. Yeah, Ollie's at the wheel, and it feels terrible. Should I just say guys? But do you have more to say? I'll just wait to see if Shoni says another message there before we end off, because you just said guys. PL official coverage covering Ollie live. Something might be up. Okay. The Premier League official coverage is covering Ollie live, apparently. So something's happening, and some people are saying it's Brendan Rodgers, some people are saying Zinedine Zidane, and yeah, it's possible. So I'm gonna mix my green tea and coffee if Ollie gets sacked. Yep, that's on that. So we'll also go check out Supersport when we're done here and go see what's going on with Showing, and I'm sure you guys will keep me updated because I don't have my DSTV anymore. So yeah, on that note, I think we'll leave it there, and if there are updates, you will be covering it definitely. So stay tuned. If it does happen, we'll definitely be up there. Maybe even a little bit before the United stand, but can't promise that. Let's see if we beat Mark to it. But yeah, I think that's it for us for today. Enjoy the rest of your days, and hope Ollie gets sacked. That's it from me and Moloto. We'll check you guys in the next one.